Welcoming Ishita. Welcome, Ishita. Ramina Umar. Manju Bude. Dr. Suchitra, could I invite you to please into the celebration? That is all of you? Definitely, definitely. Silk is regal, silk is exquisite, and silk is elegant. And it gives me the greatest pleasure to celebrate silk with you. In this silk city, I would say this is the home of Kanchivaram. We are sitting right here, and I see a beautiful one which Vinu is wearing. And as we go in India in different directions, we have the patola of Gujarat, we have the ikat of Orissa, we have the rich brocades of Banaras. You see the tanchoi that I'm wearing, and the raw silk, as well as the non-violent silk. And then we have the very special silks of the Northeast, which you're going to learn a lot about today. So I'm really excited to know all about you and why you are radiating so much. And it's just going all over the place. But even to the ladies in the audience, if you're wearing silk, I'd like you to please stand up. Let's see the variety of silks that we have in this room today. Wow, there you are. Let's give a big hand to all of you because you are a living example of the craftsmanship of the weavers and the silk tradition of India. Thank you so much. I'm going to start with you, Ishita, because you have founded a silk project. And I'd like you to just give an overview to our audience about the varieties of silk in the tradition of India, and especially about the lesser known wild silk of Northeast and the non-violent silk, which I see you wearing so beautifully. Please, go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So today, you all know about the silk industry in India, right? So we are the second largest producer in the world. So it's something that we have to be very proud of. And more importantly, we have the 4 wild silk found in India alone. And all 4 wild silk comes actually from Northeast. But very less people know that all the 4 wild silk is actually found in Northeast and then gone to different parts in the world. Like it goes to Kanchivaram silk, is made from the mulberry silk, Banaras silk. But what's interesting is that we are like 95% of Eri silk, which is a non-violent silk, is found in Assam. And 2% of that comes from Meghalaya. So it's very interesting how it's made. Like, you know how silk is made? We kill the silkworms while we boil it, right? So in the non-violent silk, we do not kill any silkworms. So it's purely made of love, care, and by these small marginal artisans living in the tribal zones of Northeast. So it brings them bread and butter because they are making something purely out of nature and it's all organically dyed. So it's beautiful and it adds to the environment. So we have to also think about the environment when we are working towards future sustainability. So this is one silk that I really want to promote through my brand because I feel that the brand consumer knowledge is required when dealing with particular silk. All the mulberry silk, you talk about the muga silk, which is only found in Assam. You talk about tussar, everything is beautiful. Obviously, we are supporting a craftsmanship. We are supporting weavers because they put the emotions and journey through creating that silk for you, and it's purely yours. And it cannot be repeated. It's just completely yours with motives. Every emotion is felt. So it's a very beautiful journey. But what's so important is that let's take a stand towards sustainability as well. It has to be towards that, and that's what we do at our foundation. So that's something that we truly work. We work with lots of people from Northeast. Our main criteria was to revive these silk weavers because we wanted to stop the polyester weaving. So weaving is different, and when you take a sustainable mode, it's different. So let's not fool ourselves by saying let's work, let's just give some bread and butter to the weavers, but we should actually take a stand towards sustainability. As a millennial, I wanted to create something which I could wear as well because I'm 24. I wanted to wear a sari which I would be able to wear it outside. So yes.
Kudos to you and your efforts, and wish you all the success. I'd like to get the cultural narrative here because silk is interwoven with the life and culture of India. And who better to tell us about this than a professor of literature? We have you here. So tell us about the Silk Route because that's what connected east to the west. And we have mention of the silk even in Kautilya's Arthashastra. And you know so much about the folk tradition of silk, so especially in the Northeast. Do tell us and throw some light on that.
Thank you, Suchitra, and good afternoon, all of you. Very happy to be here and particularly speak on our state. We are at the margins, really, and our weavers are even more so. And I would like to begin by confessing that I am not in this industry. I'm not into textiles, I'm not into silk, but I am a cultural biographer. And whatever we wear, what we eat, what our rituals, what our customs are, everything goes on to define who we are. And silk, not just silk, handloom, is a very important cultural marker for the entire Northeast because we are predominantly tribal. In Assam itself, we have more than 15 major tribes, and we have the caste people, we have the Muslims. We are a rich tapestry in ourselves. Now, as you have asked me, speaking of Muga, Ishita has already spoken about it, and she is very passionate about her area. Muga, you see, we find it not only in Chanakya's Arthashastra, but it goes back to Mahabharata. And also it is indigenous to Assam. It's a wild silk, and there are many in Harshacharita. You will find reference to this golden color that is the color of the sunrise and the sunset that is found in Assam. And Assam is referred to as in Arthashastra. It's referred to as Suvarna Kudya. So because the land, the Suvarna itself shows a gold color. It's gold, yeah. So we are famous for that. And regarding the Silk Route, of course, if you trace it from Genghis Khan, but I would come a little nearer because we are short on time. Assam actually got a composite identity under our Shan Ahom rulers. The Ahoms came to, it's a tribe, Ahoms came to Assam in the 12th century. And that was the beginning of they brought this Balburi silk along with them. That was a route they had. That is what oral history tells us, not the written history. Okay? And they ruled us for 600 years. And of course, even Muga. Muga was the robe of the royalty and the nobility. The common people, they would wear, cotton, but with beautiful motifs. Even in the, when I go to the villages, I work in the rural areas a lot. And then I find all these weavers who have their special motifs which they would not let you out. Because each of them have secret significance for them. So yes, in the literature, but what happens, like in the West, you will find, of course, it has moved on. But in the West, what happens? In the 17th century England, you will find a lot of industrial literature. You will find a lot of literature on the textile industry. But Assam being in the margins mostly, and our language being very different, not much has been written on Assam silk, but we have a number of folklore. Like, let me tell you, in our main festival is Bihu. Most of the Bihu songs will talk about weaving. Every part of the loom has been personified, and you also get to see what kind of a position womanhood has in SV's household. Because essentially, this is the largest unorganized industry we have, Till the mid of 20th century, every SV's household would have a loom. And into a cottage industry, it was made by a king in the 16th century because he made it clear that every able-bodied man will have to go to war, and every able-bodied woman will have to weave and give the king 250 grams of yarns per year. So that is how the cottage industry in Assam started. And then again, when a girl leaves in our songs, we never have it as father's house. She leaves her mother's house. Even the loom cries. The loom cries that who is going to sit at me? And when the girl is waiting for her heartthrob to come from afar, and she would always sing at the loom. We have beautiful songs, we have beautiful folklore. Just one I would like to share with you here that we don't really know, but this is a fact that when the Ahom kings, I had spoken about it before, when the Ahom kings and the nobility, they went to war, the women had to weave a Raksha Kavach, starting with ginning the cotton to reeling the thread and weaving in the course of one night, and the men had to wear that to war. If he didn't, it was doom. So we have a lot of folklore on that. We have a lot of folklore of the tribal people. I don't know, Suchitra, if this answers your question, but yes.
So thank you so much. You have really covered it all up and given us a feel of what the women. And I'm remembering Mahatma Gandhi, who said that the Assamese women weave silk in their dreams, in their silk, in their loom. Every loom that you said is there in the house. Now I'd like to come to you, Alaknanda. You're a social entrepreneur, and you're trying to revive some of the silks that are now going extinct. So do tell us about the challenges that you face in trying to revive this unorganized industry, largest unorganized industry, and the work that you're doing in this regard.
Thank you, Suchitra. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Yes. I'm running an organization called the TOGOR. TOGOR stands for Traditional Opportunities, Growth of Rural Resources. In TOGOR, what we do is that we go to the artisans, we help them weave the thread and trying to stop the rural-urban migration. Just because it's an unorganized sector, the economic status of these weavers are still very low. They're still weaving in the barter system. Like we give them the yarns, they'll keep one set and give us two sets. So that is the system that they are weaving in. But by just doing that, they do not have the financial independence that they are supposed to get. So I'm trying to organize that sector, give them like meetings with all the challenges that they have and teaching them that you can still sell your wear, whatever that you're keeping for yourself, give it back to us, we will market it and give you a market linkage. So that is the sector that I'm coming in, not only with the weavers, I'm doing it for all the artisans, be it the water hyacinth artisans or with the jewelry that we have, the traditional jewelries, and silk being one of our dying thing because a mulberry silk is no longer because of the pollution and the other factors, we are not no longer able to produce the mulberry silk that the state requires. And secondly, even the Muga silk, because of the pesticides that the tea gardens are using and the pollution that is happening, we are not able to rear as much as we want them to rear. And again, due to the financial problems, people are selling the Muga cocoons at the less than the market price, because they want the financial, and whenever they're getting cash, so they're giving whatever price that they get, because these are all widely available. So we are selling the cocoons, and which are being, in a way, I could say people are not using them for the yarns to be woven. They have been exporting it to Japan. That is what I like, from the research we have come to know. And then taking out the extracts from the Muga cocoons and making hair products. So, and though we are the largest exporter of Muga fabrics to Malaysia right now, Malaysia is using our fabrics in the bulletproof jackets. So it seems instead of the iron sheets that is there after the ceramic layer, they're putting the Muga layer there, because the Muga is very it's bulletproof. That is what they say. Even if you fire them at a point blank range, it does not penetrate the Muga fabrics. So that is one of the, and it is improved, I think the NASA also, it's one of the strongest silk fabrics. Yarns.
Totally amazing.
And it's really amazing in that way. And even for the airy silk also has a different quality. It does not look like a silk. And it was originally used by the weavers community because they used to find it in the jungle. And these are open-mounted cocoons. So when they fly out and they become the butterfly, these are all lying on the ground. So they pick them up, spin the yarns out of it. And they were using it for the winters as a shawl, because wools were not available then in the olden ages. And now, slowly and slowly, we're finding it out that it can be used in the summer. It's very good to be used in the summer. And in the winters, they give us the warmth that is required. So, airy is now, because it's a peaceful silk, so it is getting its importance to worldwide.
Thank you so much. That was really amazing. But when you spoke about the Raksha Kavach, I also want to tell the audience that Northeast is the only place where the men have a silk G-string. Yes. So do tell us a little bit about that before we move on.
As I said, different tribes have different motives, not motives, motives. And also, yeah. And also, different uses for the clothes. And tribal people mostly weave in not in silk but in cotton. And in the Kavi tribe, of course, now they don't wear it. But what I shared with you, that was a part of actual research work. There's a very beautiful piece of cloth called Ricom, intricate patterns. But then they were used as, by men, not by women. As it's a shame really to waste it like that, but mostly like G-strings for men, loincloths. So yeah, it's like that. And may I add one point to this? Yeah, I will not take too much of your time. This is something I really need to tell you. Assam being majorly a Vaishnavite state, you will not find temple motifs. Most of the motifs are because weaving is done by the rural section of the people, the women. You find the motifs taken straight from nature. These illiterate women with no sense of, no education whatsoever, what sense of color combination, what geometrical ideas, and this is really amazing. And one woman was telling me, I found something very intricate. And when I asked her, what is this? And she smiled and she said, I was sitting outside, it was muddy, a cat walked on it. I captured the paw. It's something like that. And in the 16th century, our patron saint, Shankar Deva, at the behest of the king of Koch Bihar, Naranarayan, he had the Vrindavani Vastra. It's very difficult for me to speak. It's a woven cloth in silk, with the story of Krishna's life woven on it. And it took 12 people and 1 year to weave it. And we used to have villagers, you know, the one who would cut the thread, they were called katun. And then the one who would work on the gold thread, where guna katia. You know, those are dying out. When I look at those weavers, their children are not willing to do it. But then, luckily, entrepreneurs like Shita are coming up.
That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I can see the beautiful tree motif on your Mekla chadars, and I'm going to just request my Northeast sisters to come in. So we want to take a closer look at your Mekla chadars, please. That's right. That's beautiful. It's really lovely. Thank you so much. So silk and the grandeur can certainly make us look extremely elegant. And so it does a lot to your appearance. But when we speak of real elegance, let me go to a clinical psychologist. Manju Mudit is here. And I'd like to know from you, what really makes one elegant? And you're also a fashion curator, so a wonderful person to answer this.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everybody. For me, elegance has just not been a mere word. It is something which has a lot of components into it, and I think it has to do a lot with our actions, the way we carry ourselves, and responsibility being a very, very big component in elegance. I've seen people, over the journey of my life, they want to just flow with life. I used to think like that, yeah, life is a flow. But as the years went by, I realized that, there are certain choices and certain responsible actions of ours which makes us elegant as we live our everyday lives. And I've always believed that reinventing is very, very important, an important concept of elegance. I see many people living in the past or living in the future. Can you just tell me how many of you live in the now? I mean, I really want you all to put your hands up who live in the now. See, it's very few. So if we all start living elegantly in now, we can personify our elegance better. And I believe every one of us need to be evolving every day. Speaking to all of you is evolving for me because anybody can be tense at any moment for any reason. We need to overcome that feeling. I'm just using that as an example. And I know all of us are victims of the most predictable thing of life is how unpredictable it is. But at any point of time, our mind balance, as a psychologist, I would like to add to this, it's our mind, it's a monkey mind. It keeps jumping, wanting to go on the trees, eating the fruit. Jump, keep jumping, but do it with responsibility, do it with a kind of sensitivity, mindfulness, empathy. I mean, these are not just words. If each one of us practice this, we would all realize the elegance or the responsibility within us. So that's what I mainly feel.
That's wonderful. Wonderful piece of advice. We also have a cosmetic surgeon with us, Dr. Jetri. So we all want, silky complexions, we want silky hair, and you help us, right? But without letting us getting obsessed with it, what is your advice to us, the average person?
The trend has changed. First of all, I'd like to thank the governors of Women Economic Forum. It's such a beautiful forum. I did not realize where I'm being invited to and why I'm being invited to speak in this forum. After listening to the various few talks before us, the trend has changed. I would just like to point out a scenario. Let's go back to the movie industry. Look at the mothers in the movie in the 80s and 90s. You would see elderly ladies being, Saukar Janagi ma'am or Savitri ma'am. When they acted as mothers, they were predicted as elderly and, the way they dressed and everything. Trend is changing today. Today, you see Ms. Nadia acting as a mother, a young mother, and the way they dress, and the way, because we are all influenced by the media. So the olden tradition saying that cloth maketh the man, today I would like to reframe, or I would like to believe saying that it's groom for success. So, be there silk or be there dress. So end of the day, we put so much of money into the clothes, everything that we wear. But why do we spend so much? Because it has to look good on us, right? The bottom line is we spend that money, we want to buy expensive, or it's just the cost. Whatever we wear, we want it to look good on us. But to look good on us, it starts from having a good complexion, good hair, the way we maintain. It's simply because all this gives a lot of confidence. It starts right from the school days. The teachers, pick up the kids who look good. And there are a lot of studies which says that because they are picked up, they develop confidence at a very young age. And that translates into as they go into college and then into their workplace. So it gives a lot of confidence. The way somebody looks gives a lot of confidence and helps them in their career and as they grow up. I always look at our retiring PepsiCo CEO, Ms. Indra Noy. I know she's been wearing, you'll see her wearing business suit in some professional meeting, and then a beautiful silk sari in another formal meeting, and another casual interview she'll be wearing a salwar. But even she mentions in some interview, you can have 15 ill-fitting clothes, but you need to have at least 3 good-fitting clothes. It means a lot. The way we present ourselves in the meeting. So I come from I'm a plastic surgeon, so come from an aesthetic industry. Yes, there are lots of myths about the aesthetic surgical or the non-surgical industry being oversold, or it is all trying to break. Let's say I keep getting questions about asking, are we defying nature? Like you have to age gracefully, age normally. But what I tell them is, yes, we have floods coming up. We see floods in Kerala now. Don't we rebuild everything? So all of us, so we go through, as we age, all of us want to rebuild. Why do we want to rebuild? Because that gives us a lot of confidence. Today is the whole globalization. Everything is changing. It's not that retirement is not to do with age. So we have to, present ourselves with a younger generation that's coming up. So we need to age gracefully. So our aesthetic industry as such, or surgical industry or the non-surgical, it's about helping someone to age gracefully or to rebuild themselves if something happens. It's not about overselling. It's not about saying youngsters to go and do aesthetic procedures. No, that's not what aesthetic surgery or the non-surgical procedure today is about. It's like we would like to see the beautiful ladies in beautiful attire look good. It's all about it. We want you to look good and feel good. So that's what we like to do.
Thank you so much. And talking of age, we have somebody here who doesn't look a day over fabulous. So Pramila ji, I want to ask you, how have you aged so gracefully? Please give us some tips.
All with love. There's love in my mind, my heart. I love everybody. Everybody is in my life.
I'm inviting Pramila ji to the dais because I'll also introduce her. She's been with us for many, many forums, and there's nothing as silky. Yes, her third forum. And there's nothing as silky as a mother's blessings.
I have 5 grandchildren. So she is also my daughter. She is also my 6 daughters. But first of all, I will like to tell you, everybody whosoever is sitting here, that whatever you are with the blessings of your parents. You must love them. You must adore your parents. That is the best thing. Then only you can come up more in life. And secondly, I appreciate Harbeen and Vinayji. They are like candles. They are lighting so many lives enormously. You too be like a candle. Please be like a candle, light another candles. You are not going to lose anything in life. The candle will be going on burning today. And one thing more, I want everybody, you should have a smile on your face always. Smile can take you a mile. See, if people see you smile, they too will smile. And you will look beautiful when you are smiling. And you should distribute love. Everybody is genius. Nobody is lower than us. Everybody is human. We should love each and every person, and we should try to lift them up. Okay. And I have one thing more. I never worry about anything. Whatever happens. And I told my husband also always, he will be keeping on worries for tomorrow. They said, I said, where is tomorrow? You just wait. What is coming on your way? Just take it as it is. We should not worry. See, worry cannot solve any problem. We should take as it is. The time comes. That things change when the time comes. Before worrying is not a good thing. I always keep myself happy and I smile at every person, each and every person I see, I meet. This is my life. And now I'm going to be 70 this December. Wow. And one thing more. See, you should learn to forget and forgive. See, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is what? When we crush flowers, they give us fragrance. That is called forgiveness. You know, that essence and problem. That is forgiveness. We should, if anybody does wrong to us, we should not take revenge. We should not be jealous to anybody. Just keep a big heart. You will be blessed. And one thing more, everybody wants to be liberal. And you know, the biggest icon is that the icon of liberty is a statue. So wish you good luck and God bless everybody.
बहुत अच्छा बोला. Thank you so much, ladies. Gorgeous ladies. We still have the jewel in the crown. The cherry in the cake. That's right. I was saving her last. So Meenu is the first South Indian woman to have graduated in diamonds. So in this very diamond-studded crown, we have you, Meenu. And we know that jewelry just gives us a natural elegance. You are so passionate about it. It's so feminine too. So tell us your thoughts and why are you so passionate about this?
Thank you, Suchitra. Very good afternoon. In fact, as she said, I'm absolutely not related to the silk industry. But my role comes immediately after all of you are decked up and ready to go for an occasion. It's the jewelry that we start looking for. Should I wear these long earrings or should I wear the studs? This is where every one of us, take a lot of time. And I strongly believe as a jeweler, as a designer, that jewelry is not about any trend. Jewelry is not about any style, or it's not something which has to be very in. It's just that what you're comfortable with. So when I design, I generally see what kind of a personality you are. For a person like me, I surely cannot carry something extremely Western because I'm totally a traditional person. But for somebody who's really modern, I'm surely not going to make a jhumka or something that they're not really going to wear. And so I really try to understand the personality before I design something for them. And jewelry and clothes are very close to women. Those are two things that we are not going to compromise at all. So we better get the best. And I really spend a lot of time doing that. In fact, 25 years back when I started the business and before starting the business, in fact, I went to the US to do my graduation. And I was taken in for a shock because I was the only woman in the whole university. There are no women who come to study about diamonds or jewelry, but ultimately we are the ultimate customers or the consumers. So that's the first time though I was taken in for a shock, I really started enjoying it because there was a lot of learning from men, how they put into jewelry, what they perceive jewelry is. So it was a lot of learning. Even in Mumbai when I was there for a course, it was just all men. It's a totally men-dominated industry. And today, of course, the designing, it's changing quite a bit. And so once I got back, we started Meenu Subaya Diamonds. And when we create designs, what I've over the years realized is, earlier when I started off, we are very happy with the pair of earrings for the weddings, and it's very small. But today, the industry has grown so big that we want a jewelry for the mehendi or for the sangeet, we want something for the cocktail party, we want something for the wedding, something for the reception, and it's become a year's project. we actually sit with the client for almost 3 to 4 days designing what they want for the morning to the evening. It's really a revolution today. And talking about where my passion came from, it's my passion is all about diamonds. Diamonds are the hardest substance ever found, and we women, I strongly believe, have the grit, and we are very strong. So I think that's why diamond is a women's best friend.
It is. Thank you so much. And when you said the diamond is the hardest substance, I also want to tell you that this Resham ki door is also very strong. You know, we have Raksha Bandhan right around the corner, and we also have our Shakti Bandhan. And I want to just leave you with two thoughts about the power of silk. You need 10 kg of cocoon to get 1 kg of silk, and the strength of a pure strand of silk is equivalent to a stainless steel wire. And so it's no wonder that you're making the Raksha Kavach out of this. And I want to thank you, audience, for such active listening. And I want to wish everybody days full of grace and elegance, and a life with all your days as smooth as silk. Thank you. Beautiful, thank you. Could not have asked for a more beautiful, vibrant panel. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey. And Harbeen just prompted me. She's like, this session was about using your vastra as your shastra and your astra, because we began this forum yesterday talking about our divine weaponry. And this is actually a very tangible form of that. So thank you so much, ladies, for that ever so beautiful celebration of that. Harbeen?
Excuse me, I would like to tell you that everyone should do at least daily one good thing. Either make somebody smile, make something good. It is so nice. And it will be like a seed which gives life to many other lives. Okay? Thank you.
I invite Suchitra to join Dr. Harbeen Arora. Suchitra, please, would you please come up to the front? Alaknanda as well, please. I invite Shantana Saika to please accept this honor. Dr. Santana. Ishita Das, please accept this honor as an exceptional woman of excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please give us a little bit of love together. And I invite Manju. Manju, please accept this honor. Manju,